My name is Lillian, and I was 29 years old when my life split into a before and an after. It was raining the night my sister left him at my door. Not a dramatic storm. Just a cold, steady rain that soaks through clothes and settles into your bones. She stood there with a suitcase in one hand and her 10-year-old son in the other. He was pale, fragile, shivering. She looked relieved. That's what I remember most. Not guilt. Not hesitation. Relief. Then she leaned toward me and said the words that echoed in my head for years. He's your child now. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. She turned and walked into the rain without looking back. That same night, he collapsed with a fever so high I thought I would lose him before sunrise. At the hospital, doctors told me his illness was serious, chronic, expensive, complicated. I sat in a hard plastic chair listening to words I wasn't prepared to understand. Medication, long-term care, monitoring, risk. I was barely managing my own bills at the time. But when he reached for my hand in that hospital bed, none of that mattered. Fear changed into something else. Responsibility. A promise I never said out loud but carried anyway. The first years were survival. I learned how to measure medication at 3 in the morning, how to read lab reports, how to function on 2 hours of sleep. I memorized the sound of ambulance sirens. I learned to smile even when exhaustion hollowed me out. Every birthday, I baked him a cake, even if it meant skipping something I needed. He asked about his mother. Sometimes I never poisoned his heart with the truth. I told him she loved him in her own way. I told him she was far away. 17 years passed like that. Quiet sacrifices. No applause, just endurance. And somewhere along the way, I stopped thinking of him as my nephew. He was my son. Not by blood. By choice. Then one evening, during a small family gathering at my house, the past walked back in. My sister, older, well-dressed, smiling as if she had simply stepped out for groceries instead of disappearing for nearly 2 decades. Her first words weren't, "I'm sorry." They weren't, "Thank you." She looked around casually and asked, "So, what happened to the poor boy?" Before I could answer, someone stepped into the doorway behind her. Tall, confident, calm. My heart knew before my mind caught up. He wore a tailored suit, his posture steady, his eyes clear and strong. My sister turned. The color drained from her face. 17 years, he said evenly. That's how long. I wondered if you'd ever ask. She tried to laugh. Asked who he was. Her voice cracked. He didn't raise his voice, didn't show anger. He simply told the truth. He spoke about hospital nights, surgeries, fear, the loneliness of waiting for a mother who never came. Then he spoke about Emmy, about the woman who stayed, who worked herself past exhaustion, who chose him every day. My sister's eyes kept searching my face. For forgiveness. For rescue. I gave her neither. You asked what happened to the poor boy. He said, finally, I became this. He adjusted his cuff calmly. Because someone loved me when you didn't. The room was silent except for her uneven breathing. She tried to explain. Said she was young, afraid, in love. He stopped her with a small shake of his head. You had a choice, he said quietly. You chose to leave. Her tears came. Then, 17 years too late, she turned to me and whispered my name. Like it was fragile. Said she was sorry. Said she thought about us sometimes. I told her the truth, that I had cried helplessly the night she left, that I had been terrified, that I had sacrificed more than she would ever understand. And that despite everything, I never regretted staying. He became my son. I said, not by blood, by choice. He looked at me then. And in that glance, every sleepless night was worth it. He turned back to her one final time. I didn't come for revenge, he said. You asked what happened to me. Now you know. Then he added softly, peace doesn't mean access. She broke down, but no one moved to comfort her. When she finally left, the house felt lighter, not joyful. Just honest. Later that night, after everyone was gone, I sat alone in the quiet, 17 years ago. She thought she was escaping responsibility. In truth, she abandoned her future. The sick little boy survived. He thrived. And the frightened 29-year-old woman she underestimated became stronger than she ever imagined. Love isn't defined by blood. It's defined by who stays. And I stayed.